Hello everyone, welcome back. Tom with Capo Fetish. Today I'm going to talk about androgynous vocals on hit singles. These are songs that for years we thought were sung by a specific gender, but it ended up being just the opposite. And for years and years we would just go on thinking, oh yeah, I like her voice. I like his voice. That's a great vocal, blah, blah, blah. And later came out to find that wasn't it at all. It was a completely different thing. So I know we all have those songs where we're like, what is, that sounds, that's a good female vocal, or yeah, that's a male vocal, or kind of like, who is really singing that song, right? I can't really tell. So anyway, I'm going to start off here with a song from 1961, and that's The Tokens, The Lion Sleeps Tonight. A song that I've heard a bazillion times, and a lot of you have as well. A song featured in many movies, commercials. But it's the Tokens version that really, I always thought, who is that lead female singer in that song, And then years later, once the internet came out, you were able to look at videos on YouTube, and it was like, I was like dumbfounded that it was a full male doo-wop group, and the vocals were done by Jay Siegel. So that solved that issue. And yeah, kind of a trip. There was a song from 1965 that I never even knew existed until I heard this compilation from 1980 called Wild Thing. It was like a Warner Brothers special products. They always release these kind of things like bubblegum songs. This was like a great garage compilation. And I knew most of the songs on here, like Black is Black by Los Bravos, I Fought the Law, Bobby Fuller 4, Bottle of Wine by the Firefalls or Fireballs, etc., etc. But I never really heard this particular song, Liar, Liar by the Castaways. I guess the first time I heard it was my early teens, and I was blown away by that opening vocal, right? I thought, wow, this is kind of a cool band, garage band. They have a lead female vocal, and then they have another guy singing with her. And, years later, I found out it was the same guy singing both parts, and it's such a radical change. Blew me away. He was singing this very high falsetto, kind of warbly sounding kind of vocal, and then he goes into this kind of garage rock style vocal. So always blew me away. I thought there was a female in the Castaways, but it was just four guys in a garage rock band. So another issue solved there. 1965, great year for new albums coming out. Great album rock, just starting, a lot of just phenomenal singles, a lot of great pop singles too. And I always loved the song Call Me. And I always found it really infectious. And I always thought, wow, the vocals really, really smooth and really kind of almost naive sounding and kind of soft. And I always just pictured, maybe it was Pet Clark singing it, or maybe Jackie D. Shannon, or, some of those mid-60s female singers. And then when I realized who actually sung it, it blew me away. It is indeed Chris Montez. Chris Montez, formerly of Let's Dance phase, or Let's Dance fame, should I say, from 1962. He was kind of more of a, in the footsteps of like Ritchie Valens. He was following in those footsteps in the early 60s. But 3 years later, Herb Alpert signed him to A&M Records. Made him kind of more of a lounge lizard, more of a lounge singer. So, you have this kind of lounge accompaniment, and then you have Chris Montez's very soft vocals and very, very androgynous sounding, should I say. But I got to tell you, these Chris Montez albums on A&M are really infectious in a really kind of fun way. They're very light sounding. The backing is very, very light. It's all very just, innocent. But I've always liked Call Me, and I never knew it was Chris Montez who sang this song. I always thought it was, like I say, Pet Clark, or, one of those, or maybe even like Dusty Springfield, one of those mid-60s chanteuse ladies, should I say. So yeah, it blew me away that it was actually Chris Montez singing the lead vocal on it once I knew, but great song. Another one too that I grew up with, 45 I grew up with, from 1969. I always, love the Columbia label. Love watching it spin around. And another one, I always thought a woman was singing this song, and this is Spiral Staircase, More Than Yesterday. But it is not. It is, the vocals are by Pat Upton. Always loved this tune. But again, yeah, it fooled me for years. I thought it was female, but it wasn't. It was just a great falsetto vocal by Pat Upton from Spiral Staircase. from 1969. Now, another one that really blew me away, I thought this song was definitely a Carole King song. This is from 1972. It sounds so much like Carole King, and I know that I read later that this artist was very much influenced by Carole King for this particular album and this song. And I was so convinced that it was Carole King that I actually went out trying to look for the single at one point, thinking it was Carole King, but in fact, it was Todd Rundgren, I Saw the Light. It sounds so much like Carole King. You know, and there are other songs on this album where he doesn't sound as much like Carole King, but again, definitely fooled me, and I love this song to this day. I Saw the Light from 1972 by Todd Rundgren. Another one too, this is the one that blows me away the most, and this went on for years and years and years. One of my favorite mid-70s pop singles from the AM radio period was the song Jackie Blue by Ozark Mountain Daredevils. I always thought it had this really mysterious quality about it. This is the single on A&M Records. And I always thought the vocal quality was had this female quality to it, this really mysterious quality to it. And I was convinced, because this is the only song I ever heard by Ozark Mountain Daredevils. I never had any of their albums. I was convinced that their lead singer was a woman, you know. And then once the internet came up and I was able to watch the video, I was blown away that it was a guy, and it was the drummer who wrote part of the song, or most of the song, and he sung the song. And his name is Larry Lee. And all this, for years and years, I always thought they had a lead female singer in Ozark Mountain Daredevils. But this is still one of my favorite mid-70s AM songs. Just a real classic song, but that mystery was solved after many, many years. So the lead singer is, like I said, Larry Lee, the drummer for Ozark Mountain Daredevils. Now, another one, too, I was convinced was a female vocal from 1978, was Nick Gilder's Hot Child in the City, until I actually had to find the video at some point and watch it. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, it's like one of the best female vocals on AM radio back in 1978, but it's not a female vocal. It's Nick Gilder. Pull up the video and check it out sometimes. It's unbelievable now how much it sounds like female. It really is something else. But 1978's Hot Child in the City by Nick Gilder. That's another one. Now, last night when my wife knew I was putting this video together, she mentioned one too that blew me away. I never knew was a particular singer. I always thought it was just a male singer. And that is the group Yaz, from the album Upstairs at Eric's. I must have heard this song a million times on K-Rock. I was never into synth music back in the 80s, but I heard it, just unwillingly in the car. It would come on all the time on K-Rock, or you'd hear it at a club. And I just thought it was just, a band like Depeche Mode or one of those bands, all male. But last night, it just blew me away. It's actually Alison Moyer. Alison Moyer singing the lead vocal on Don't Go. I always thought it was just, a male singer, but, having had some years now and not having heard this song, I played it last night. I don't think I've even heard this song in about 35 years. I got to say, it is a great vocal and just a great soulful vocal there by Alison Moyer. So yeah, all these years I thought it was male, but it's actually a woman, and it's Alison Moyer. And it's weird. Back in the day when I go to the record store, I would see Alice Moyer records, and I wouldn't even put the two together that she was in Yaz and sang the song. But anyway, that's one. And another one, of course, is Kiss by Prince. But no more needs to be said about that one, right? And then forwarding to 2012, when I was working in an office, and we had the indie station on all day playing indie music, I kept hearing this song over and over and over. Really raw, kind of blues, slow groove. And I kept hearing this vocal. I'm like, God, who is that young blues man singing this song? It sounds like you don't really hear that anymore on the radio. Somebody with that incredible raw blues vocal, with a lot of soul. And this went on for months and months, and I didn't really bother researching the song. I just kept hearing it kind of ad nauseum. I liked it at first, got sick of it, and then realized it was Britney Howard from Alabama Shakes. That's the band, and the song is called Hold On. So that really fooled me too. So it just goes to show you that vocals can be a mystery, and sometimes you don't know who's singing them. It really doesn't matter who's singing them, but sometimes in your mind you think, yeah, that's a male singing that, or that's a female singing that, or sometimes you may think, who's really singing that? I can't really tell. So anyway, that's my video for the day. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please do. And if you have any comments, throw them in the comments section, and we'll see you soon. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.